Hi, welcome to another Don't Worry About the Government vodcast. Nah, that was lame. Anyway, why are you milking a cow?
It was a dance that was supposed to accompany whatever that thing was that clearly was just as lame as your little intro.
You were milking a Soviet cow, Mitt Ramadan.
This is the sickle, and this is the hammer.
As you might be able to guess from Chris's uniquely Muslim Romney reference, we're going over to the Middle East, where Mitt Romney continues his messing up overseas tour, 2012. So, what happened with Romney over in Israel?
Well, Mitt Romney went to Israel in an attempt to kind of turn this foreign policy trip around. He had a really bad start in England with the Olympics and then outing that he was going to meet with the leader of MI6 and a whole host of other things. So he goes to Israel. And really what Mitt Romney has to do is say that he supports Israel. So first he delivers a speech where he talks and compares and contrasts the economies of Israel and
hold up there. So Romney needs to go there and basically say this. The American and Israeli people have an intertwined history ever since the founding of the State of Israel. Our Judeo-Christian heritage in the United States comes from the Old Testament. Your history, blah, blah, blah. That's all he needs to do. But instead,
Romney, seated next to a billionaire casino owner Sheldon Adelson at the head of the table, said he had read books and relied on his own business experience to understand why the difference between Israel and Palestine is so great. He said this: as you come here and you see the GDP per capita, for instance, in Israel, where it's about $21,000, and compare that to the GDP per capita just across the area managed by the Palestinian authorities, which is more like $10,000 per capita, you notice a dramatically stark difference in economic vitality. And as I come here, which is a very popular Mitt Romney line for foreign policy, as I come here, I look over this city and consider the accomplishments of the people of this nation. I recognize the power of at least culture and a few other things. And then he goes on to say... I
didn't even hear the few other things. So basically...
Here's some of the other things, man. The other things include an innovative business climate, the Jewish history for thriving in difficult circumstances, and the hand of Providence.
What this sounds like is like a bad award ceremony. And the award for the hand of Providence goes to Israel. I mean,
I want to thank God for my economy.
By the by, I read that those statistics apparently are even worse than it looks like. That the Palestinian per capita is much lower than what it is. I mean, clearly this is insane. The idea that the Israelis are doing better just because they're wonderful, and the Palestinians are doing poorly just because they suck, as opposed to they have no economic freedom, they can't import things, they are completely maligned throughout the international community and are not allowed to have the sorts of investment from overseas people because, I mean, they can't even get concrete in, right? They can't even rebuild because that might make it so you have rockets and other bad things.
I think there's like 80 things they can import at this point. If anything, Mitt Romney could probably make a compelling argument about how bringing in some free market values to Palestine might help bring up their economic status. Right now, they're being regulated quite heavily, and you'd have this interesting free market argument if you were interested in making it. Of course, Romney isn't. But so this starts off, and I guess the reason this is bad, normally this wouldn't be that bad. This is bad because the U.S. has a position in the Middle East of negotiator, particularly in the Mideast peace process, which is between Israel and Palestine. So when you, as a presidential candidate, are saying, well, God clearly chose a winner in this conflict, it makes it really, really hard for the other side to think of you as an objective negotiator, which the U.S., as best we can, have been trying to present ourselves over the last several decades.
And you know what? Here's another thing. I've had all sorts of realizations on the audio and video thing as I'm doing them. Romney has managed to keep his religion out of the picture. And here it comes back in full swing. It's like you are trying to avoid the fact that you're a Mormon, and you've done a good job because you've screwed up in so many other ways. But now you push that back in everybody's face when you make a point that God loves the Israelis and hates the Palestinians.
I love the fact, I love that him being a Mormon isn't a problem only because he's managed to fuck up in so many different ways.
It seems to be what his strategy has been. I'm going to distract you with so many other mistakes that you won't even remember. Like, it's a magic trick where it's like you disappear because you shoot yourself and fall into, like, the water behind you.
It's just impressive, this weird tactic. And so today, in the second part of his trip here, he chose to come out and say either extemporaneously or prepared. I can't tell, although I'll read the comment to y'all, and I think you'll think that it's probably at least a prepared comment. Romney says, do you realize what healthcare spending is as a percentage of GDP in Israel? It's 8%. You spend 8% on GDP on healthcare. You're a pretty healthy nation. We spend 18% of our GDP on healthcare, 10 percentage points more. I don't even know what Romney's trying to do here. First of all, Romney's healthcare plan at this point is literally just an abstract repeal. It was going to be a repeal and replace.
Romney's plan is let every state make their own plan. And I did a good job in Massachusetts. I'm not going to make you do that because that applies to me, and everybody else figure it out for yourself. I mean, it's a completely federalized approach, which makes it completely ridiculous that you would credit a nationalized system for doing a good job and saying, like, how do you – like, there's only a couple things. One is this is an obviously dumb thing because it's very easy to then turn it around and go, hey, look, you think this is good, so then good. Why don't we have that?
Single payer.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, it's like, how do you, if it's so segmented that you're just complimenting the good things, how does that work? You can't do that and divorce it from the system itself. There's no good argument for how this is a reasonable approach. I mean, the only argument is exactly what his thing is always, which is, I think I do great things or did great things in my state. It'd be nice if you did them, but I'm certainly not going to make other people do them, even if they're smart. That seems to be the Romney approach.
The engine that drives their healthcare system is this right here, baby. Socialism. I mean, it's bizarre. It's like saying, this car is so great, and I hate diesel-powered engines. Well, it's got a diesel-powered engine in it. I still love the car, and it clearly performs well. The most asinine part of this is that the GDP argument is typically the argument that single-payer proponents roll out when they're defending single-payer. So to point to that, and then I guess to imply, one, that Americans aren't very healthy, which seems to be implied inside of the statement. Two, that our free market approach to healthcare doesn't work. And three, we would do well to model ourselves more off of the healthcare thing. Let me read some of the provisions in the Israeli healthcare.
We're out of time. We're out of time. So we added a new Facebook group, so you can have a more personalized interaction with us. That's over at facebook.com/groups/DWATG. And as for us, we're over at don'tworry.tv and on iTunes. And maybe Mitt Ramadan next time should call himself like Mitt Simchat Torah or something because the Muslims were shat on this time and the Israelis were the ones touted. You have anything else you want to plug, Mr. Novim Ramadan?
At DWATG on the Twitters and Chris Novembrino, ChrisNovembrino @gmail.com. Thanks, guys.
Find us over on the Reddit. We have a subreddit, DWATG. You can email the show, contact at don'tworry.tv. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.